Yes, Nivedita, can you hear me? Yes, Dr. Nivedita, are you there? Could you please rename your device? Okay, we have a couple of students joining in. Yes, could you please introduce yourselves? Yes, Satya, Srishti, Sucheta. Hello, everyone.
Yes, sir. This is Srushti, sir, from PMNM Dental College.
Okay, Srishti from okay, which year, Srishti? Ivan?
Intern, sir.
Intern. Okay, that's nice. That's nice to have you. Okay. Sucheta, please introduce yourself. Okay. Dr. Sasmita, over there.
Hello, good evening, sir. This
Good
is
evening.
Shashmita Dalai. I'm
Yeah.
MDS second year.
MDS second year. Okay, nice.
Yes,
Nice
sir.
to have you, Sasmita. All right.
Thank you, sir.
So great. Sucheta, I think must be from even Dental College as well. Marvel Court. Okay. Having Dr. Nivedita join in. I think this is her device. Yeah, now we can see you. Hi, Nivedita. Yeah, are you able to hear me? We can't hear you, Nivedita. You can unmute yourself and start speaking. No, we still can't hear you. Can the rest of you all hear me? Just reply in the chat box, please, if you can hear me. You can see and hear me correctly. Okay. I think we're having some network issues at Nivedita's end. All right. Okay, meanwhile, I think Nivedita will take a minute. I think your audio is not connecting, Nivedita. You'll have to connect through the computer because you're using, I think, Bluetooth headphones. All right. Okay, we have also Sakshi with us. Yes, hi Sakshi. Which college are you from? Which year student?
Hi, sir.
Okay,
I'm intern, sir.
interns, all interns of
Good
Kama.
evening, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Okay, that's nice. Sakshi, from which college?
Sir, I'm from PMNM Dental College
Okay.
and Hospital, Bagalkot, sir.
So how is your internship going so far? All the interns from Bagalkot.
So yes, sir, it's going on. So like right now I'm posted in Prosto and
So,
I'm doing patient and
okay.
also helping juniors and getting to know a lot of things.
Okay, that's good. So how does it feel coming back to college after COVID, after such a long break?
Yeah, a real happiness. I mean, we were apart from dentistry, I mean, much of clinicals, we were missing that.
Okay. Mhm.
So quite happy.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Hello, sir. Is my audible? Am
Yes.
I audible?
Now you're audible. Now we can hear you. Okay, great.
Okay.
You can try to share your screen once, Nivedita.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think the network is stabilized now. Yeah, we can see your screen. You could try putting that in slideshow for us.
Yes, sir. Is it fine?
Yeah, you can just try changing the slides. There will be a little bit of lag, so you'll have to wait. Yeah, I think that should be all right. All good.
Okay, sir.
You can just put on the first slide and leave it there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So a lot of interns from Bagalkot are joining us today. That's good. All right. Good, good. Fine. So let me just think. So guys, topic today, what Dr. Nivedita will be dealing for us is, I would say, one of the fundamental basics of public health dentistry or dentistry on the whole. We will talk about health education and health promotion. So we have students joining in from different colleges. So I think we just take a minute and introduce our speaker for today. Dr. Nivedita is someone whom I've known from her PG days. She was my PG junior. I think if I'm not wrong, you joined PG when I just completed, right? 2016.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 15 I joined and 15.
15 you joined. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So I think right from then, since we know, I mean, all of us in our PG circle, as we, see Nivedita work tremendously hard, and she's got a very deep-rooted passion for public health industry. So just a little bit of introduction about our speaker today. So Dr. Nivedita is completed an MDS in public health industry from Kelly Society Institute of Dental Sciences, Bangalore. So she's presently working as a senior lecturer at PMN Dental College, Bagalkot since 2018. Now, coming to the achievements, Dr. Nivedita was awarded the best oral health documentary on the topic of beat diabetes at our national PG convention in Cork. And she has various publications on very interesting topics like perception of personal dental appearance, and then quality of life among dental caries and periodontal cases, and then many observational and epidemiological studies on this. She's also written a very wonderful article called Brush Up, which is an innovative technological aid for parents to keep a check of their children's oral health behavior. She has many certifications to her credit related to SPSS training program, data analysis, then first aid emergency response and disaster management, faculty programs on healthcare intellectual property rights, then BLS, which is basic life support provided from the Indian Academy of Pediatrics, and then learning from the experts related to tobacco, global tobacco control, and all of these eminent certifications from John Hopkins. So she's someone who's been tremendously active in the field of public health industry, who has taken it to the. So it gives me immense pleasure to welcome Nivedita to PhD 101, and for having taken out time and planning out this session, and making it possible for us to learn beyond barriers and boundaries. When it comes to a topic like public health dentistry per se here, health promotion, I mean, we read so much, and your teachers, all of you would be continuously telling about creating awareness. Now, what awareness are we talking about? Definitely the dental diseases, but there is a pragmatic and a strategic way how we address it. So we'll have Dr. Nivedita talk about the basic principles of health education and health promotion and what are the contents, the elements, and so on and so forth. So with this brief introduction, I welcome again Dr. Nivedita to the panel. Thank you so much, Nivedita, for taking out time, and thank you all of you amazing students and colleagues and faculty and PGs from across the country who've made this possible. And over to you, Nivedita, for today's proceedings.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much for this wonderful actually platform. And to be my session begin, I want to thanks to the PhD 101 and Dr. Denji Lawrence sir for giving me this wonderful opportunity and for the wonderful introduction. Okay, shall we start, sir?
Yes, please. It's 6 o'clock. We can start the class.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Okay, let it be a interactive session. Like you can unmute whenever I ask. Okay, and answer the few things. Okay, let me start. So before I start with my topic, education is the most powerful weapon which we can use to change the world. Okay, do you agree with this? Anybody can at least you can put it
Yes,
ma'am. Or anything. Do you agree with this?
Just a minute.
Okay, if it is yes.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yes, sir.
I think you guys can also use the chat box. If you're hesitant to talk, you can always answer quickly in the chat box, and it'll give Nivedita also an idea about how to proceed. Yeah, please continue.
Okay. So if yes, whenever we are walking on the street or something, we see some holdings or some banners like this. There's a pulse polio campaign going on like that, something. Will it grab your attention? Will it grab your attention? If yes,
Yeah, ma'am.
all the time or sometime? All the time or sometime?
Sometimes.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
All the time.
Okay. Sometimes. All the time. Okay. And this holding, which one is more convincing, the previous or this one?
This one.
This one. Why? Because there is a Amitabh Bachchan in the frame. Because we follow him, we admire him. Similarly, in this today's session, if I'm talking about eye donation or something, you guys will be like, from where this Dr. Denji Lawrence sir has got her, why she is talking about eye donation and all. Okay, so it will be like that. So if it is told by Aishwarya Rai Bachchan, everyone will follow her. Okay, similarly, we being a health professional have this attitude, or we can change the people's behavior. That is what is about today's topic, health education and promotion. Okay, I'll be dealing under these headings: introduction, approaches and principles, and what are the aids and methods we can use, and what are the barriers in health education and promotion, and followed by health promotion and conclusion. So to begin with, it is a health education is fundamentally a learning process which impart the information in such a way that the recipients are motivated to use that information. Okay, it is basically an active learning process, not like a passive, like I'll keep on telling something and you guys will listen it, forget it there. It is active learning process. The people will utilize that health education, or they will inculcate that in the day-to-day life. Okay, it aims in the favorably changing attitudes and influencing the behavior of health in order to the health practices. Okay. To define it in a health education, it is a process. It is a continuous process. It informs the people, it motivates the people, and it also helps people to adopt and maintain healthy practices and lifestyles. Okay. For that, we need any environmental changes to facilitate whatever the goal we have. And for that, we have to give a professional training and research to the same end. This is according to National Conference on Preventive Medicine. It is a health education is a process. It informs, motivates, and helps people to adopt, maintain healthy lifestyles and practices, advocates environmental changes as needed to facilitate this goal, and professional training and research to the same end. Okay, so we have some different various ways or approaches to the health education. That is to name it, it is regulatory approach, service approach, and health education approach, and a primary healthcare approach. The regulatory approach is also called as legal approach. This is the form of approach which makes use of the law to protect the health of the public. Okay, the various laws like Child Marriage Restraint Act, Pollution Act, or Consumption of Tobacco and Other Products Act, or Food Adulteration Act, Environment. By making rules and regulations, we can follow the health of the people. Okay, that is one kind of way. Then comes your service approach. It aimed at providing the health services at the door-to-door services. Okay, but the failure of this service approach is because of that it is not based on the felt need of a patient. Okay, like suppose if you want me to give an example, it is like I'm having a sophisticated equipments and I have a very good resources with me, and I want to give a dental program to the people, but there is an epidemic of gastroenteritis in that particular population where I want to give this. So in that case, my health education will not be successful because the problem is epidemic of gastroenteritis. So it is not based on the needs of the people. So this approach is not appropriate. Okay, so there comes a health education approach. This form of approach is found to be most effective because it changes in the health practices and lifestyles in the community. This approach includes your motivation, communication, and decision making. Okay, the important factor in this approach is they will give us sufficient time to change or modify our behavior in the desire whatever we need the changes. Okay, we will give a sufficient time. Then comes is your primary healthcare approach. This is basically from your principles of primary healthcare, that is community participation. So it is basis from the identifying your problem till the delivery of your planning stage. The participants will be involved. They will only give the every full priorities. They will only identify their problems and they will have a planning till the planning stage. They will only be involved. That is what is community participation. These are the different approaches for the to give a health education. That was regulatory approach, service approach, educational approach, and the primary healthcare approach. So then comes is your principles of health education. There are 12 principles to name it: credibility, interest, participation, motivation, comprehension, reinforcement, learning by doing, known to unknown, setting an example, good human relation, feedback, and community leaders. We'll see one by one. Credibility. Whatever we are talking, whatever the health education we give, it should be trustworthy. It should be scientifically proven. Okay, the degree to which the message is communicated is perceived as a trustworthy by the receiver. So we can't give anything which is scientifically proven. And so we should, whatever we are talking, it should be sound and it is proven. Okay, that is what is credible. Then comes is your interest. As I already told, it should be based on felt need of the people. It is a psychological principle that people who are unlikely to listen to those things which they are not interested. So when it will be interesting, when it is based on their felt need. Then comes is your participation. When it is based on the felt need, automatically people will participate. And if the people are participating, it means that they have accepted our program. So there is an active participation also helps in the understanding of their health problems and promoting them to find the solution. Then comes is your motivation. Motivation is something called it is awakening one's fundamental desire to learn. Okay, there are two motives, that is primary motives and the secondary motives. The primary motives for us is the basic things like food, shelter, hunger, like that. And the secondary motives are which we strive for, like rewards, achievements, awards, like that. So we should identify what are the motives of. If you see the girls or ladies, youngsters, if you see that the motive will be aesthetic, they are more concerned about the aesthetics. Okay, so that we can concentrate on there. If you see about the adults, they're more towards the money. If they take a preventive things, it will not be expensive. Okay, that is what is the motivation. Then comes is comprehension. Before starting anything, we should know the level of understanding of the people who receive the health education. Then is reinforcement. For anything we know, we have to have a repetition. So to make people to remember and understand the importance. It is also called as booster dose. We tend to forget. Before exam, we do once revision because the entire year we will be studying, but still we will read. We will once, like before going to the hall also, we will check once whatever we have missed or something, because we tend to forget. So even the same thing happens whenever give the health education. So we should have a repetitive session. That is what is booster dose. Then comes is your learning by doing. So there is a famous Chinese proverb. It is like, if I hear, I forget. And if I see, I'll remember it better. And if I do it by myself, I'll understand it better. Okay. That is what is learning by doing. Then comes is your known to unknown. Whatever the health education we are giving, we should proceed from simple things to the more complex one, and from easy to the difficult ones, like from known things to the unknown things. If you want to give a health education about like brushing technique, so before we should ask what they use to brush, what material they use, whether they use a toothbrush, toothpaste, something. So after that we can move to the different types of techniques. Starting only we can't teach them like you should use the modified bars technique or this technique. Okay, we should start with the simple things to the more complicated ones. Then comes an setting an example. Okay, what the health educator should follow whatever he is preaching. If you are only talking, if you are saying your patients like smoking is injurious to health or alcohol is injurious to health, and if at all they comes across seeing you guys after the health education, they will not follow. They will only like you guys are only having. So should follow whatever he's preaching. Then comes in your good human relationship. Sharing information, ideas, and feelings. It is happens easily when we have a good relationship. Okay, that is what is. If you have a good communication, it will be better to give a health education. Then is feedback. The health educator can modify the elements of system after feedback. Like even after this end of this session, if you give me a feedback, it will be helping for me to improve anything. So it is similar way in the health education also. If we get any feedback from the participants, then is community leaders. We have seen before starting, we have seen the Amitabh Bachchan and Aishwarya Rai in the frame. Okay, because we follow them, we admire them, that's the community leaders. So we should identify the leaders among that people whom they respect and whom they regard. Like in villages and all village panchayat and all, some members will be there. We can identify them, we can make them the leaders. Then they will better learn rather than from some unknown doctors. Okay, that is we best learn from people whom we respect and regard. These are the basic principles of our health education. Okay, so let's see how much you have understood so far. Here is a person, he is having an abdominal pain. Okay, but here I am a dentist and I am very much interested in teaching the brushing technique. So which principle is it addressing?
Known to unknown.
There is a person who is having an abdominal pain and I'm interested in a brushing technique. There is no felt need of the people and he will not involve in my this thing. So which principle is it addressing? Chat
Participation.
box also you can mention. Interest, participation, of course, if he will not participate, but the first thing will be interest. He will not have an interest only to participate because his problem is abdominal pain. Okay, similarly, if you see, I'm taking a lecture on flossing, okay, and I'll demonstrate flossing technique. And after that, I'll tell you to in front of me only, you should show me how is the flossing technique done. Okay, which principle is it addressing?
Learning by doing.
Learning by doing, yes. Okay, we'll see the contents of health education. Okay, there are various contents. We should include that in our health education format. Okay, the first thing is human biology. That is understanding the health demands on the understanding the human biology. If you are talking about the oral health, we should tell what all it oral like the tooth has. Like there is a crown, there is a root part, it has enamel, dentin, and pulp. So we should tell the normal structure before start going into the abnormal things like functions of the body. That is what is human biology. Then comes is your nutrition. We should guide people to choose optimum and a balanced diet, and we should ask them to remove the prejudices and junk food and to promote the good dietary habits. So nutrition should be part of your health education. Then comes is your hygiene. There are two types of hygiene, personal and environmental. And environmental again has a domestic and a community. So we should promote the standards of personal cleanliness within the setting of the people where they are living. And then the family health. Health largely depend. It is not the individual concept. It is a family. If at all you take a COVID-19 situation only, if one person is affected, there is a chances high risk in the entire whole. First will be the home, then the surroundings. Okay, so it is a family matters. Okay, social, physical, and environment, and its lifestyle and behavior. It is important. Then comes is your prevention and control. Disease prevention. We teach the people, or we should educate the people about the prevention and control of whatever the local endemic diseases is there in that particular area. Then is mental health. The aim of education in mental health is to help people. The definition of health says it is a complete physical, mental, and social well-being. It is not just like if I'm sound, if I don't have any free from the disease, it is not like I'm healthy. It is mentally also we should be healthy to prevent the mental breakdown. Then comes is your prevention of accidents. There are main three areas where the accidents are prone. That is in our home side and road and the place of work there. And so safety education should be directed to these areas. And what whenever there is a school children, if they're like interested in sports or something, we should teach them what are they can use. Okay. Then use of health services. One of the declared aims of health education is to informing the people about the what all the services they are available in that particular community. Like there is a dental college is available. There are this like private hospitals are there. There's a PHC is there, CHC is there. So we should tell the people, we should help what are the health services are available in the particular community so that they can utilize that. So what are the contents of health education is? First is human biology, then nutrition, hygiene, family health, disease control and prevention, mental health, then prevention of accidents, use of health services. Then followed by practice of your health education, what we can do. There are something called aids which are used in the health education and methods. The aids can be auditory aids like your radio, tape recorder, microphones, amplifiers, earphones, and a visual aids like which requires the projections and which does not require any projection. Does not require like your flip charts like that, and which does require like PPTs and all. Okay. Then is combined AV aids, television, sound films, folk dances, puppet shows, cinemas. They are all combined AV aids. There are aids which are used in the health education. Then comes is your methods, how we can give a health education. So there are three different things, that is individual approach, group approach, and a mass approach. We'll see one by one. In an individual approach, the patient will visit to a dentist, or it can be home visits also. Okay, but the advantages here, two-way. And if the person is having any doubts, he can solve there only. Okay, pursue the patient, clear the doubts. But the disadvantage is small number of people will be benefited, and only those who come in contact with the dentist or the doctors will be helpful. That is what is the disadvantage of your individual approach. Then comes is your group approach. There are different things. We can use the chalk and talk, symposium, group discussions, panel discussions, workshop, conferences, seminars, role playing, demonstrations. Okay, chalk and talk. The effectiveness depends on the speaker's ability, how legibly he can write and draw the things on the blackboard. Okay. Then is your symposium. Symposium means it is a series of speeches on any particular selected topic, and each speaker will give a brief introduction about the topic, and in the end the audience can ask the questions. Then is group discussion. It is aggregation of people interacting face to face. The group discussion, the ideal group discussion will have 6 to 12 members, but the drawback about this group discussion is somebody can be like over enthusiastic, he can dominate the session, and whoever is shy, they will not involve in the group discussions. Okay, they will sit in a circular fashion. Okay, then is your panel discussion. Here 4 to 8 qualified persons talk about the topic. They sit and discuss in front of a large audience. Then is workshop. The series of meetings, they will divide, like in a workshop, in the sense, if at all some 30-40 people are there, they will divide them in the small groups, and there will be one resource person for each groups. Okay, what is a workshop? Then conferences, seminars, they're commercialized continuing education programs, which can be national, international, or state level. Okay, then is role playing or social drama. They dramatize the situation by the group. Then demonstration, which is carried out by step by step in front of an audience. So overview of your group approaches, there are lectures, symposium, group discussion, panel discussion, workshop, conference and seminar, and demonstration. Okay, we'll have some activities. What is the first slide? What they are doing?
Panel discussion.
Panel discussion. Yes. The second one,
Group discussion.
group discussion. And the third one,
Group discussion.
group discussion, workshop. And the fourth one,
Okay. Conference.
conferences, symposium, anything it can be. Okay. Then we'll move on to the mass approach. It is a one-way communication. Whatever the health education is given through a mass media, it is one way. We will see the television, they will be talking about something, and we will see the like the Vimal Pan Masala ka ad, but we can't do anything against it. So it is a one-way communication. So health education is, but through the mass approach, we can educate the larger community. Okay, gathering people who does not belong to the one particular group. There are different things: television, radio, newspapers, documentary films, posters, health exhibitions, and magazines. So the television, it covers a large number of the people. Like similar way, even a radio also has a broader audience, and it is economical compared to your television. And newspaper widely distributed from the literature, but the drawback of newspapers is only the literate people can read. And the documentary field, it provides the realism and motion. And posters, it catch the eye and it is artistic, but the poster should be like removed every now and then, otherwise we will lose the interest of it. And health exhibition, it should be conducted during a fair or a festival. And health magazines, topic should be authored by an expert. And there are various types of internet sites are available. If you Google something, and like 100 things will open. So we can use this platform to give a health education. So there is something called communication, and communication is a two-way process of exchanging or shaping ideas, feeling, and information. So our ability depends on the how good we have a communication skills, like how well we can speak, how well we can write, listen, read, and reasoning things. Okay, there is something called soil, seed, sower. The soil, in the sense, it is whom we are giving the health education, are called as soil, and the seed is whatever the health facts, things we are giving, that is a seed. And the sower is the media, through what media we are giving, whether we are using the audio, visual, or combined, whatever the media we are giving to transmit that fact, it is called sower. So all these three components are interdependent, and they result in a dynamic interaction. So then comes there are different things in the, it is a communication is a complex process. It has a sender, it has a receiver, and it has a message. And for that we need some channel or a medium. And at the end of any communication, we should have a feedback. Okay. So sender, whatever the health education we are giving, whatever it is the communication we are doing, we should know our objectives, and we should know whom we are giving the audience, and what messages we want to give, and what are the channels of communication we have, and what is my limitation, my strength, we should know. The sender should know. Then is your receiver. There is a controlled audience and an uncontrolled audience. Controlled audience in the, like in school children, or it will be a controlled. Uncontrolled whenever we are having public areas. And the message is, it should be in line with my objective, and it should be based on the felt need, and it should be clear and understandable, specific and accurate, and it should be timely and adequate, and interesting, culturally and socially appropriate. So what are the channels we have? The media, whatever we spoke, there is a audio, visual, and the visual. So what we can use, even mass medias, traditional or folk medias. Okay. Then is feedback. It is the flow of information from the audience to the sender. It is the reaction of the audience to the message. So there are different types of communication. one-way communication, two-way communication, verbal or non-verbal, formal or informal. So one-way communication is also called as didactic communication. Here the knowledge is imposed. We will not give them any reasoning skills or anything. So the learning is authoritative here, and there is hardly there is an audience participation, and there is no feedback from one-way communication. Whereas two-way, it is also called Socratic or dialectic communication. Here the learning is active and democratic, and it is more likely to influence the behavior of the people. There are some barriers in the communication. It is called, we can classify them as physiological barriers, psychological barriers, cultural and environmental barriers. Physiological barriers are something like when the people are not able to express themselves, or when they can't see, like, and we should know our audience. If the people are not like they're deaf or dumb, so we should modify our health education according to the people. Then comes is your psychological. There are mentally retarded people, so we should modify the psychological barriers there. And environmental barriers, when we have an uncontrolled audience, so there will be a noise there, they can't see whatever we are showing them, so they're all environmental barriers. Then comes is your cultural barriers. Whatever the health education we are giving, which should not be against to the people, what they will have learned it from the like from their ancestors or anything, so it should not be against their culture. So that we have some barriers for to give a health education. We should address everything and then give a health education. This is about health education. So let's see about the health promotion.
Nivedita.
It is the process.
Yeah.
Sir?
No, I
Yes.
think had a small video to introduce health promotion. Is it okay? Can we have a video break here?
Yes, sir.
It's okay because it's related to health promotion. So let me
Okay,
just
sure.
just a minute.
I'll stop sharing.
Yeah, you can stop sharing. Video is about health promotion, guys. So Dr. Nivedita will be discussing in the upcoming slides about health promotion and the Ottawa Charter, which is the main important topic from this chapter. So before that, we'll just have a small video. Yeah. You're able to see the video?
Yes, yes, sir.
We're going to have a look at health promotion, a very important part of public health and an essential component in any public health program. We'll talk about what it is and have a look at the Ottawa Charter, which outlines some of the important principles of health promotion. So, what is health promotion? Health promotion is defined as the process of enabling people to increase control over and to improve their health. In essence, health promotion is about improving health. But what is health? Well, the World Health Organization defines health as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being rather than a mere absence of disease or infirmary. Good health is not determined by a single factor. A variety of factors such as social, environmental, and economic conditions have an impact on health. These factors not only impact health, but can also make it easier or more difficult for people to make changes to their health. Because of this, health promotion tries to improve health not only by targeting people at an individual level to change their behavior, but by taking a comprehensive approach addressing a broad spectrum of health factors and determinants. Over time, the importance of health promotion has received global attention. In 1986, the first International Conference of Health Promotion was organized by the World Health Organization. It was held in Ottawa, Canada, and an outcome of this conference was the creation of a document called the Ottawa Charter. This was a landmark document and has been influential in providing guidance to the goals and concepts of health promotion. The principles set out in the Charter are still used in health promotion activities today. Since the meeting in Ottawa, there have been other international health promotion meetings which have expanded on other health promotion themes. Now, let's take a closer look at the key components of the Ottawa Charter. The Ottawa Charter describes 5 action areas and 3 strategies to achieve health. Let's talk about the action areas first before we get into the strategies. The 5 action areas are building healthy public policy, creating supportive environments, strengthening community action, developing personal skills, and reorienting health services. Building healthy public policy is the process of developing policies that support health by not only protecting the health of individuals and communities, but also making it easier for people to make healthy choices. This is done by a coordinated approach of legislative, regulatory, organizational, and taxation changes. Healthy policies are not made just by health departments, but from all levels and sectors of government and other organizations. A few examples of healthy public policies are laws requiring people to wear seatbelts and helmets, smoking restrictions, and workplace health and safety regulations. Moving on to creating supportive environments. The environment that people live in, both the natural and built environment, are closely linked to their health. So this action area focuses on places that people live in, their communities, where they work, learn, or play. It aims to increase the ability of people to make health-promoting choices while in those settings. Some examples of this are activities such as promoting health in the workplace, restrictions on junk food advertising for children, and strengthening links between environments and people like walking or running programs. The next action area is strengthening community action. This refers to the collective efforts of communities to improve their health. To give you some examples, community fun runs that promote people to be active, community kitchens that promote healthy eating, and community-based organizations that support people living with HIV/AIDS are all community efforts to improve health. The fourth action area is reorienting health services. Health systems have traditionally been medically dominated and have focused on an individual's curative and treatment needs. This action area aims to make health systems focus more on supporting the needs of people and communities for a healthy life. It takes into consideration the total needs of an individual and encourages health services to focus on strengthening protective factors, reducing risk factors, and improving on the social determinants of health. Let's look at some of the examples of reorienting health services. These include training doctors to assess and educate patients to stop smoking, establishing health educator roles within medical centers to coordinate preventative activities, and improving access to health services for culturally and linguistically diverse populations. Lastly, developing personal skills focuses on supporting personal and social development. This is done by providing information, education, and enhancing life skills to make positive health choices. Examples of this are online programs that provide information on heart disease, distributing educational material on the effects of diabetes, and classes that teach people on how to manage disease. Now that we've covered the 5 action areas, let's talk about the 3 strategies that the Ottawa Charter identified for health promotion. These are to advocate, mediate, and enable. To advocate is to use a combination of individual and social actions to obtain political commitment, policy support, and social systems that support a health goal. To mediate is the process by which different interests of individuals and communities, and also different sectors like public and private sectors, are reconciled in ways that promote and protect health. To enable means that health promotion activities to improve health are taken in partnership with individuals so that they're empowered to take actions to protect and promote their health. And that's the overview of health promotion and the Ottawa Charter.
Yeah, dear students. So that was a brief introduction about health promotion and the Ottawa Charter. Yeah, Nivedita, you can continue now. Okay, I hope the topic so far is clear for everybody. Are you all familiar with the basic principles and everything? Let me know in the chat box, yes or no? Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, that's good. So, yeah, Nivedita, we can see your screen. So, unmute yourself, please. Yeah, please continue.
Actually, the video only has covered most of the part. Okay. So the health promotion, it is the process of enabling people to increase the control over and we can improve their health. It is according to the WHO 1986. We have seen the Ottawa Charter we had 5 action principles, priority action areas, and then the 3 strategies. That was the enable, mediate, and advocate. They are the strategies, and the action areas or the priority things are the reorienting the health services, creative supportive environments, and develop the personal skills, strengthening the community action, and building a healthy public policy. These are our priority action areas. This was about Ottawa Charter we had seen in the video. We'll see there are some approaches. Similarly, we had approaches in the health education, like we had regulatory approach, service approach, right? And we had educational approach and primary healthcare approach. Similarly, we have there are different approaches in the health promotion, that is preventive, behavioral change, educational, empowerment, and social change. Preventive approach, it aims at a reduction in the disease level. Okay, the target group here is the population who are at high risk. Okay, so it is also called as top-down approach. Here the experts will lead the team, and this kind of activity reinforces the people. We should know, the health professionals should know the necessary knowledge, whatever we have. Like the example, if you want to give, it is a screening program for oral cancer detection and prevention. But the limitation of preventive approaches is we cannot address the underlying the cause of the disease, why this is happening. We can't, based on the preventive approach, we can identify the underlying cause of the disease. Then is your behavioral change approach. It encourages the people to adopt healthy behaviors and so that they can improve the health. So it views health as a property of an individual. Okay, the people can make their real improvements by changing the lifestyles. Okay, it involves change in the attitude followed by a change in the behavior. So it is people's responsibility to take action to look after themselves. Okay, by conduct, like if you see Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, the classic example. So if we see now, like anybody is throwing any plastic or anything, we will be like, no, we can't throw like anywhere like that. So it is a behavioral. We have modified ourselves like Swachh Bharat Abhiyan so much that now. That is one example for your behavioral approach. Then is educational approach. It is enabling the people to make informed choice about their health behavior by providing, we'll give them the knowledge, information, and they will develop the necessary skills to adopt the necessary changes. Okay. So it is for patients, voluntary choice, which may be different from what health promoter has given. Okay. It is not similar to the behavioral approach. It does not try to pursue or motivate people in a particular direction, so they can modify the health. And empowerment approach, it helps people to identify their own concerns and skills. Like they will only identify what is their problem, how they can modify. So here the individual or the community will identify their problem and they seek for the solution to move forward. It is also called as bottom-up approach. Here the health professional will act as the facilitator. Okay, we will start the process, but at the patients will continue. We will be just a facilitator. We will see. Okay, then is social change approach. It is a radical approach which aims to change the society, not just the individual behavior. Okay, it is a physical, economic, social environment. We have to change in all the areas. Okay, it is targeted towards a group and the people, not just an individual. Okay, to achieve this requires changes in a policy, political support through by lobbying and policy planning. So each approaches has some certain strength and some weakness. So combination of approaches is the best way to promote health. So to conclude this, so if you see this picture, I'm standing here in the near shore, and whoever is falling in the river, and I'm going and jumping to the river, and I'm like rescuing them. But I'm so busy seeing the people who are helping the people, but I'm not going and checking what is happening, who is pushing them in the river, and that is what is lacking. So that same thing in a health education or in a health promotion, it is like we are only looking for the curative treatment. Whoever is coming to us, we are treating them with, that is what is called as downstream approaches in the health education way. Look, so we have to concentrate on the upstream approaches. That is what, if you see on the there is a person who is pushing, if you are going and seeing. So similarly, if you see that there are chocolate factories or anything, it must be. Okay, so we should concentrate more on the preventive aspect rather than the curative aspect, which is expensive also. Okay, this was about. Thank you for listening. And any questions?
All right, so that brings us to the end of the class. That was pretty much on time, Nivedita. You're supposed to, I think
Yeah.
finished spot on. Okay, that's good. Students to begin with like a class which is short and precise. And we managed to cover quite a
Yeah.
lot, from health education to health promotion and everything.
Health promotion. Yes.
All the exam point of view questions, guys, were mentioned by Nivedita here. So whatever is put out on the slides, and we'll share the slides with for you all to revise. So quickly, can we have any questions, any doubts, or should we start? What should I say? The Viva Voci here. Okay, fine.
Hello,
All
sir.
right. Okay. Yes. Please unmute yourself and we can talk. Hello. Yes.
Ma'am, suppose if at all I wanted to give information regarding oral health of oral cavity as well as abnormality in the oral cavity to a 9th or 10th standard student. So of course I'll be teaching them using either chalk and talk or using PPT. These are the approaches. So what are the other approaches, some effective approaches for learning the aspects of oral health you would like to add?
Okay, other approaches like you want to include the mass or the group approaches, like we can dramatize the situation in front of the people, and you are saying about the 9th and 10th standard. Okay, and not just giving the abnormalities of the tooth, we can give even the adults are more prone for the tobacco. That is the age to start. So we can dramatize the situation by role playing or something. That is also one effective method.
Okay.
Yeah, and the yes, sir.
No, please continue.
Yeah, like role playing will be the best method to teach them, and the projected aids will also help. And if you want to show about any abnormalities you are saying, demonstration also will help. Like if whatever we want to teach them, whatever the health education we want to give, like about the brushing technique or flossing, or it can be anything. So we can demonstration also will. It is actually a combined approach. We can include two different approaches to give a health education about to that particular group.
Okay. Just to add in what
Yes,
Nivedita mentioned.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sakshi, are you there? Yes, Sakshi. I think that was your question, right?
Yes, sir.
This again, for most of the students, you are always in a constant state of confusion as which health education method or approach to be chosen for which population, right? Since we have plenty of methods here, you have to take into consideration what is the level of integration of that knowledge. Let's say, for example, you are a final year BDS student, right? Okay. Now, if I will have to, so if I have to make you familiar with a certain topic, okay, just instill knowledge at the awareness level, I will have to choose, simple health education tools like posters and charts and most of the lectures and whatever, limited knowledge, which is just to sensitize the population regarding that. Now, if certain issues, for example, when you're educating to children, okay, how to take care of their own health or what, to avoid and what to go for, you will need one level higher. So in terms of learning, you will go from the cognitive level, you to go a much applied level or maybe into the domain where you will have to enable. Okay, if you look at the definition wordings actually like very closely, if you notice, health promotion is the broader terminology where you are actually ensuring the population or the patients whom you are teaching or whom you are demonstrating to exercise a control over their own health. So if you're demonstrating a toothbrushing technique, okay, you're actually making the person do, okay, learning by doing and demonstrating and making the child, learn the whole practice, you're going to another level. Now, if you want to go to the highest level of implementing this educational method, you will have to make them do and assume, like a role play and everything, demonstrations, in terms of social drama or a skit and all these things. So there are various levels of integration of knowledge which are required. Okay, if I just want to create awareness, okay, let's say, for example, the poster which Nivedita put up here, right? In the first slide, she gave you the pulse polio vaccination program. Now, the objective of such a program is to ensure you cover an entire population. Okay, so the main objective is to get maximum reach. So there, using the face of a celebrity ensures people take notice of it. Okay, there have been instances even when we have used celebrities but have not conveyed the message. So we use voice modulation. So we use the same celebrity to come out with a voice message or a slogan or a campaign material where he or she is telling that yes, do boond zindagi ki. And then you're wording the sentence so it goes into the minds and they will follow it. Okay, so it depends on what level of integration of knowledge. If you just want to create awareness about oral cancer, or you want to create awareness about the seriousness of oral cancer, or that there is life after cancer, it depends on your outcomes. Okay, so if you look at the health education and promotion, okay, various materials have been employed in various combinations, guys. Okay, various combinations in order to make it very effective for whichever program you intend to do so. A dental example would be in cases of fluorosis. Okay, people are aware of fluorosis, but then are not able to do anything about it. So there, your health education has to go one level higher and make them understand that yes, you need to replace the water, or you need to get the fluoride levels checked. Then you need to campaign and lobby and so on and so forth. Right. So that's just a little bit of clarification for you. Okay. Okay. I think Dr. Deepak wanted to ask a question.
Yes, sir. So first question that I wanted to ask is, in COVID times, we say that wearing mask and hand sanitization. So does it come in health promotion, or does it come in the specific protection, sir? First question. Second is one more.
Yes.
So is there any reason behind calling one-way communication as didactic and the two-way communication as Socratic? And the third question, so we do have a Ottawa Charter also, and we have a Jakarta Convention also
Right.
for health promotion. So can you highlight this Jakarta Convention and what is the difference between them?
Okay. Yes, Nivedita, you want to take the questions one by one? Hand hygiene.
Sir?
Yeah. Did you hear Dr. Deepak's question?
Yes, I have.
Go ahead. You can answer it.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Dr. Deepak wanted to know if what we practiced during the COVID times. Okay.
COVID times.
Is it
The health education.
exactly? Is it qualified as health education or?
No, is it like the comes under the primary prevention? We had like two different types of modes of intervention, like health promotion and a specific protection. But if you take it like as particularly to the COVID, we are not doing it. Is overall health. If you take specifically like a hand hygiene and a personal hygiene, it comes under the health promotion. Okay, and if we are like, why we started practicing more during the COVID time? Because that is the reason to get the disease. Okay, if you don't have a proper hygiene, that is what is gateway for our COVID. So that becomes in that COVID, if you take a particularly as a COVID, it comes under the specific protection. But as in general health, if you take health like personal hygiene or anything, it comes under the health promotion, if I'm not wrong, sir.
Yes, that's right. Okay, and your second question, Deepak, was related to the Ottawa Charter and Jakarta Convention, right?
No, sir. Yeah, second question.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to ask, is there, sir, any reason behind calling one-way communication as didactic or say two-way communication as Socratic?
So if you have any answer for this, you can answer it.
The Socratic method, right? Socrates, the philosopher. So it was how gathering people and then doing your two-way communication. Okay, didactic method is again the opposite of that. So since it stems from the philosophy of thought of how you gather people and you give one way, and then you also take a discussion where people are philosophers, where listening to each other and exchanging information. So that's how it is one way and two way. So Socratic and didactic or dialectic method. Okay, so that's just basic language which is employed here. It's commonly again known as the Socratic method. All right, and I think third question about the Jakarta Declaration. Yes, that was an international agreement which was signed, by the WHO's Conference on Health Promotion, which is in Jakarta. Now, if you look at this Jakarta Convention, the declaration, where they gave the priorities for health promotion in the 21st century. Okay, so there was a lot of impetus and importance given to social responsibility for health. Okay, so there was also a need to ensure there's more participation. Health literacy should also be important, because a lot of the programs were not yielding futile response in spite of massive information campaigns, mainly because people were not aware. Okay, so you need to educate them in health literacy, which is the terminologies which are used and how do you address various parts, and accordingly. So it again, a lot of which happened after Ottawa Charter, it sort of combined most of these strategies and got this into this thing. So you could be asked, in terms of the various conventions. Okay, it's not just Jakarta. There's also a Bangalore convention which was held, and many more across the world. So you can always look it up and read. It's all there in Essentials of Dental Public Health, and Cynthia Pine. You'll find more on that. Okay, right. So do we have any more questions, guys? Any more questions? Okay, I think it's your students, Nivedita. I think they're more comfortable talking to you.
Sir?
No, I think we have quite a lot of interns and finalists from Farilkot. So I think they'll open up with you, because I'm a relatively unknown case for them. So
No,
okay.
no, not really, sir. They have attended a lot of sessions actually. You are also known to them now.
Okay, that's nice. So
During their final years, it was very helpful, I guess.
All right. Any of the postgraduates would like to ask any questions, because this is a potential. Yes, please. You can unmute yourself and talk. Everybody wants to ask any question. Yeah. All right. So I think if there's any questions, you can always put it in the chat box also, in case if you have specific queries related to this topic. Again, a small piece of closing remark is this topic is, though it's very few pages in the textbook, right, in public health industry. Every examiner, guys, like when you're facing examination, they will ask you the applied aspect. Okay, so this is not just as a public health dentist or only PGs in the community need to know this. As general dental practitioners, okay, the foundation for all the terminologies what Nivedita mentioned, from communication to health education to health promotion. Okay, when you are not having any foreseeable risk factors, okay, all that you do much before that. Okay, the World Health Organization has got so many fantastic videos. You can always look up and see the most powerful and impactful resource material. Okay, it is classified as IEC material. Okay, the Government of India uses this terminology under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. So IEC stands for Information, Education and Communication. So there is a ministry for this. Okay, there is under the MOHFW, there is a separate department which frames the material. Okay, so if you could just stay online, I could show you the website, which is very useful for dental professionals. Okay, the website is called eDant Seva. Let me just try sharing the screen for you all. I'll just, or in case I can just put it for you all in the chat box, you all can go back and then have a look at it. So this information portal is given a lot of content in terms of various oral diseases. Okay, so there's standardized videos which are available, explainer videos. So try to use these on your CAMs and when you have it in your final discussions. Okay, and it's important to give complete information when you're going on health education, and most of your teachers, everybody will be monitoring, right? So during your internship, especially when you have your postings, you need to give simple, cognizable, and comprehensible information. You have to be very clear, and it all follows. So this chapter is more of implementation in our day-to-day lives. Tomorrow, even in your general practice, when you have to interact with your patients, you need to know health education principles. You need to have credibility. You need to have a good messaging skill and communication, all of that. And we live in a rapidly changing world of information technology, right? So use technology to the maximum. Okay, once you're using technology, again, use a lot of videos. And now that everything's available at 4G speed, very easily you can, share videos on your phone. In fact, this Edan Seva has got its own application. Okay, so there's a mobile app which you all can download and keep as a resource material for your own purposes. Okay, let me just try showing you the website. Okay, are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes, sir.
Edan Seva. Let me just give you a small demo here. Okay, I'm just putting in some of my details here. So you can select. Okay, so you need to register on this website because if you register details, they are mandatory now. So you put in your name, you put in your email ID and everything, and to gain information, you can just do this. Okay, once you submit the information, automatically it leads you to to select a value, profession, put in age, gender, okay, purpose, and then it asks you specialty. I filled in all the details. Okay. Okay, so you can notice here it's got a lot of information on various contents on let's stop teeth and dental facilities and dental emergencies. So this is again standards information. Most of it is in Hindi and in English. It gives you information on the National Oral Health Program, and this is there's emergencies and all of that. So you can go through this website. Okay, there's a media gallery. Okay, there's FAQs. Then there's also quiz. Right. So this is all a resource material which is pulled in from various organizations, right? The Dental Council of India and there are many collaborating organizations. So you have all that detail which is given for you. So you can always go in detail and check this out. All right. Okay. So like I said, there's also an app which is available, guys. So make sure you do have a look at it. Okay. So if there's any more questions, always do let us know here. Okay, otherwise I quickly like to thank Dr. Nivedita for doing this session today. It was very, very helpful. I think very concisely and precisely told. Thank you so much from everyone from Bagalkot and from many other colleges who joined in here attending our sessions. Thank you once again, Nivedita, for taking out time and teaching us the topic today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. It was my pleasure. And thank you, students, for patient listening.
So, any other questions we have, guys?
Yeah.
We have it. Otherwise, I think we can finish the session for today, and we are sharp on time. It's exactly 7 p.m. So thank you so much, Nivedita. I think that was really fun of you for sharing, and y'all can also join in our WhatsApp group. Okay, I've just posted the link in the chat box here, so students can get in regular information on our webinars. So we're going to have subject webinars every Wednesday. Okay, so every Wednesday at this time we'll be covering the syllabus. So far the previously done videos are available on our YouTube channel. Any specific assistance you want, you can always send us a mail at publicdentistry101@gmail.com. Okay, you can check our website also, and everything is absolutely free for the benefit of UG students across the country. For postgraduates also, any specific requirement, resource material, we will be planning the schedule itinerary of topics for postgraduates very soon. So all of you stay connected, stay home, continue learning, and continue discovering the fascinating world of dental public health. So this is a small effort. Thank you once again, Dr. Nivedita from Bagalkot. Please do say my hi to Raju sir and everybody there. Right. So
Yes, sure, sir.
I think Shruti is also there, right? I think Shruti is also
Shruti.
Right. Great. So hopefully once everything subsides, we'll be able to visit Bagalkot very soon.
Yes, sir, sure. We'll meet. Hope there will be a conference this time at least.
Surely, surely. All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, everybody. Take care. See you all very soon. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.